Alright, hello everyone, good day. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. I hope you are all well and safe. I'm Queenie, an international student here in Canada, and in today's video, I will be sharing with you some information about the cost of studying here in Canada. This would be based on my own experience as an international student from the Philippines, and I hope you will be able to learn something from this video. Alright, as I have received some questions from friends, former colleagues, and neighbors about my studies here in Canada, let me take this opportunity to answer the most intriguing question and how much it really costs to study here. For this video, I will focus on my school fees and cover living expenses in a separate video. So before we begin, let me cover a few terminologies that I have used in this content, such as the term course, which refers to the degree that you are pursuing, while here in Canada, they call it program. Second is the term subject. This refers to the area of knowledge that we study, like math, English, etc., while here in Canada, they call it course. And then lastly, the term semester, which refers to our academic session. So here in Canada, they call it term, wherein it is divided into 4 sessions, such as winter, spring, summer, and fall. Winter term starts in January, spring term starts in May, summer starts in June, then fall starts in September. Before I move on with the very core of our topic for this video, let me quickly share my profile or background as an international student. I started my studies in winter of 2021. It started in January 2021 with an anticipated program completion date of December 2022. I completed a diploma program in business administration with a focus in human resource management. It is a 2-year program for 4 terms, winter and fall term, and my scheduled break is from May to August. I studied at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, and my program had 20 courses that I have to complete in order to qualify for graduation by the end of my program at NAIT. Alright, so now let's talk about cost. Let me begin with the cost of my school fees. Shown on your screen is the different amounts I have paid for my school fees for the duration of my program from January 2021 to December of 2022. My program only requires 4 terms, as I have scheduled breaks between May and August. However, I opted not to take breaks in 2 classes during school breaks to manage my schedule better and balance my studies and part-time work. Just a backstory, I started my first term with 5 courses. While I was able to manage and ended my first term being on a DINS honor roll list, but I have to admit it was a very challenging experience studying and doing coursework for 5 subjects or courses and working part-time at the same time. And as I am only able to work 20 hours per week at my first job, and my boss can't give me full-time hours even during my school break, so I decided to enroll during my school break and took 3 courses to better make use of my time, and at the same time unload myself of taking 5 courses per term. I also anticipated that courses might become more difficult, demanding, or challenging as I progress in my program. Additionally, taking 3 courses per term also allowed me and my husband to afford my tuition, as we pay less per term. Spreading out my remaining 15 courses after my first term to 5 terms greatly helped us better manage our finances and unload myself of the extra burden of juggling work and my studies. Okay, so as you can see in the table, I had a total of 6 terms, as I didn't had any school breaks. And for the 6 terms, I paid a total of 36,038.42 Canadian dollars, or 1,441,536.80 in Philippine peso. This is assuming that the conversion rate it would be 1 Canadian dollar would be equivalent to 40 Philippine peso. I would also like to share that as an international student, we are allowed not to take the full 5 courses per term. We are allowed to take 3 courses minimum per term if it's your regular term to maintain our full-time student status and not violate the conditions of our student permit and be able to work continuously. Moving on, let me show you a breakdown of my school fees to give you an idea what comprised the school fees and how much each component would cost. Our school fees at NAIT are comprised of 6 different components, and these are first would be recreation and athletic fee. This is for 35 Canadian dollars, equivalent to 1,400 in Philippine peso. Next would be medical insurance. This is for $59 Canadian dollars, and it's equivalent to 2,360 in Philippine peso. And then third is dental insurance. It is for $65 per term, and this is equivalent to 2,600 peso. And then NAIT fees are $105 Canadian dollars, equivalent to 4,200 in Philippine peso. And then U-Pass, this is for the transit pass, wherein your ID would also serve as your transit access if you take the bus or the train. And this is for $180 or equivalent to 7,200 in peso. And then lastly is the international tuition fee, which is, this would be like an estimate because it depends if there are changes or tuition fee increases. So this would be like an estimate of 1,770 per course. So if you have about so this would be like about 70,800 in Philippine peso, and then you have to multiply that to 3 or 5 courses, and then times the number of applicable terms that you are trying to complete your program. So, okay. All right. So for the international tuition, so since each course would cost an estimated amount of 1,770 per course, and based from my own experience, I had a total of 20 courses for 2 years, so this would mean multiplying that amount to 20. Okay, so moving on, please note that books or supplies are not included in the school fees. So let me share with you some estimates about how much the books would cost, as you would also need to consider these when planning and allocating your budget. As a student at NAIT, you have 3 different options on how you would like to purchase the books needed for your courses, depending as well on what will be required by your professor and on what you can afford. In my own experience, these are the different options I have tried, and let me share with you some estimates of the cost for each. So you have 3 options to purchase your books. The first option is you purchase used books. These are older versions that are still acceptable, but you have to verify that with your professor, and you can purchase this from previous students who already completed the course. I was able to do this by joining a group on Facebook with members who are current and past students of NAIT, and you can find there postings of students looking and selling books at varying prices depending on the condition of the book. Based on my experience, used books usually range from 20 to 50 Canadian dollars, or might even go higher depending if the book is brand new but was not used. I will share the link to those Facebook groups I've joined in the description box below for those who are interested in joining those groups. The second option is purchasing the e-text version of the actual book. It costs less than the physical book and is accessible online, which also makes it easier to look up answers to assignments or projects. If you have mastered the control find technique, it would be very convenient, especially when making study notes for your term exams, as you can also highlight important terms or statements and can copy and paste important notes from the book. But just a heads up though, some e-text versions won't allow the control find option, and it won't also allow you to highlight and copy the text. So you would really have to look it up based on what chapter or page it is in the book and manually type your notes. Having ebooks also mean lesser stuff for you to bring to school during classes, as you can access the book through your laptop. While it is While it has its advantages, it also has its disadvantages, such as you won't be able to keep the e-text forever. It will just be accessible for you for the duration of your enrolled term for that course or a year. You cannot also transfer it to someone else. E-text books usually cost around 70 to 100 Canadian dollars, or that would be like about 2,800 to 4,000 in Philippine peso. And the third option is you can purchase brand new books, the physical book, if you're the type who can better focus if you study using the physical or tactile book and highlight keywords or terms. Brand new books usually cost around 130 to 160 Canadian dollars, or that would be like about 5,200 to 6,400 per book in Philippine peso. If you might be wondering if books are optional, based on my experience, while the physical book is optional, however, for majority of my courses, e-text with the access code were required, as we do most of our assignments and quizzes or term exams online, such as through MyLab, McGraw-Hill, or Wiley Plus. Just an important note, for the books, there are 3 to 5 courses per term, so you would need 3 to 5 books per term as well. So the total cost per term would depend on what type of book you will use. Now, down to our last slide, let me share an estimate of how much it would cost for a 2-year program at NAIT as an international student. If we are to combine the international tuition or school fees, which costs 36,038.42 in Canadian dollars, or 1,441,536.80 in Philippine peso, plus the books, assuming you would use the brand new ones, which would cost 2,600 Canadian dollars, or 104,000 in Philippine peso for your studies alone, excluding the living expenses, it would cost about 38,638.42 in Canadian dollars, or 1,545,536.80 in Philippine peso. These are just estimated amounts that could change due to tuition fee increases and inflation. So it is recommended that you allow yourself to have some buffer in anticipation of any increases, or if you would decide to pursue a longer program such as a bachelor's degree. Alright, so that wraps up our topic for today's video. I hope these figures I am sharing with you gave you some insights on how much funds you would need to prepare to finance your studies for the full duration of your program, especially if you plan to study at NAIT. And before we end this video, let me leave you with this quote: follow your dreams, believe in yourself, and don't give up. We all have dreams, but making dreams a reality needs a great deal of commitment, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for future uploads or stories of our journey here in Canada. Thank you, and you have a good day.